Okay, perfect. I think that's everybody who signed up who's joined us today. So hello and welcome to you all, and welcome to everyone who's watching the recording afterwards as well. For those of you who don't quite know who I am, my name's Connor Allison. I'm the UK Customer Experience Specialist here, and I'll be running you through the CAS 360 new features webinar today. Within sort of BGL and CAS 360, I look after things such as your account management, your support, and kind of all the questions you have often come through to me as well. Timings for today, we're hoping to run between sort of 30 and 45 minutes or so. So hopefully you can get a little bit of time back at the end of the call as well. In terms of what we'll be covering today, we'll move the slide along one. There are a few different new features we have to run you through today. A couple of them have been released and available to you for a little while, and a couple of them are brand new as of this month as well. So a little bit of variety in there for us to run through today. Initially, we'll start with kind of making the most out of your dashboard. This will include things like filtering your columns, organizing these columns in a way that suits your workflow, looking at things like individual labels and notes to hold against particular companies, as well as going through all the alert systems available on the main dashboard as well. Moving on, we'll go on to comparison reports. These are a key feature, I believe, of CAS 360, something that everybody uses all the time. We'll show you where to find these from different areas of the software, what they should be used for, and some key points to look out for as well as overcoming any failures you may run into with these comparison reports. Then on to some more kind of newer and fresher updates that we've had go live as early as this month. These include dormant accounts. We'll show you where to find these, how to prepare these and how to get them signed, as well as all the access and kind of the ways of preparing these within CAS 360. And then we'll do something very similar with the dividend vouchers as well. Following this, we'll have 4 or 5 minutes at the end directed towards a Q&A session. Your questions are welcome throughout the session. So if you have any questions, please pop them in the box and I'll do my very best to answer them kind of as we get to the end. First of all, bear with me. I'm just going to get us onto CAS 360 and then what we'll do is go ahead and get started. I'll give you 10 seconds ago or so. If you do want to open up your CAS 360 and follow along, you are more than welcome to as well. There will be things, sort of everything is available for you today, and there'll be things you can look at the same time as we do on here as well. Perfect. The first thing I wanted to show you today is obviously how to make the most out of our dashboard. The very first thing I want to start with is the option to filter your columns, which can be accessed through a little pop-up by clicking on filter columns towards the top of your main dashboard. Once you open this up, you'll see a little pop-up with lots of different toggles we can turn on and off. For example, if I was to turn on one that says company status and click save, what we can see is that now on our main dashboard, we've added this particular company status down the right-hand side. If we wanted to move this company status towards the left, it's as simple as coming into here, dragging and dropping up to where we want it to come in order, hitting save again, and it now moves it all the way over to the left-hand side. Within filter columns, you will see some with a little lock on the right-hand side of it. These ones, unfortunately, are mandatory and do need to remain kind of exactly where they are. Everything else, however, is open for you to kind of chop and change and add and remove whenever you wish. Something that we do get asked a lot about in here is the ability to add client reference numbers to the main screen, which is an option for you within CAS 360. The way to do this, you can come down here and turn on either your client number or client reference number, however you choose to do it. I'm going to turn on client number for today. And just to show you the capabilities, I'm going to move it all the way to the top, just so it goes right next to our company name. I can then hit save. And what you'll see is we now have a column down here for all our client numbers. Some have been added already, but in order to add a brand new one, you simply open up any random company. I'm going to go for Down Under Blunder today. Once you're in your company screen, you head over to company info, add company info. You have the option for client data. You can then enter your client number. We'll go for 456 today. Once you hit save in the bottom right hand corner, you can come all the way back to your main screen. And as you can see, it adds your client number to the main dashboard as well. Moving on, we have the ability to add some labels to the main screen as well. These are really important or really key to use if within your firm you have individuals who look after a set number or specific clients. And what this does, it allows them to log into CAS 360 and solely look at the clients that they look after. This is also really commonly used, as you can see on screen at the moment, for clients who do their own CSO1. There's a few ways we can set these up, a few ways we can change these around, and a few ways we can manage these as well. So I'll run through them from top to bottom, and of course stick any questions you've got into the Q&A section as we go. The first way to add these is when you are adding a new company. So to give you an example, if we were to add a new client to CAS 360, once you've entered our company name and our company number, what you'll see towards the bottom is the option to add a company label. When you click on it, you get the options of ones that already exist. So for example, this client is going to be someone who does their own CSO1. So as we click on that and hit save, what will happen when we come into here, you will get an additional label that says client does their own CSO1. We can also add labels from this particular part of the dashboard as well. Once we come into here, you'll see a little pencil next to each of the particular companies. If you wanted to add a brand new label, you can come into here, click on it. You can either select one from the drop down or add your own one. I'm going to add Connor's client for today. Simply hit enter and it then adds Connor's client next to that particular company. Now, if we just wanted to view all the companies under one particular label, so for example, we'll go and look at Connor's client that we've just added. We come down to the bottom left of the screen under labels, click on Connor's client, and as you can see, the dashboard then reflects what is on the list of Connor's clients. To make this a more permanent change and see this every time we log into the platform, you simply hit the gold star next to the name. Now, every time I log into this platform, I will just see the clients that I look after. To reset this, you'll get a little reset button down here in the bottom left. You simply click on that and it takes us back to where we started. You will also see the option for manage labels on the left-hand side. Once you open this up and you click on a particular label that already exists, I'm going to use Dave's client in this example. It will bring you a list of companies and you will have the ability to select them and add them as Dave's client. Again, once we do this and press save, it will be reflected on our main dashboard. As you can see, Dave's client is starting to crop up a little bit more from where we've added into each of the companies. The final thing in relation to labels is being able to get rid of a label that you no longer need. There are a couple of ways to do this. The first way is by clicking on a label next to a particular company. Once you click on it and press backspace on your keyboard, it will then get rid of that label for that particular company. If you want to make this a more permanent change and delete that label, should I say, a bit more permanently, you can come down to your label section in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Simply click on the label you want to get rid of, and when you backspace, you will get an option here to delete the label. Once you click on that, it will get rid of that label and reset you back to where you started. In addition to labels, we also have notes available on the main screen of CAS 360. You will see a column for them down here as well. These are really good to add any additional notes you need against a particular client. This is often done for clients that are maybe going into liquidation or clients of the sort where you need some extra key information that isn't necessarily available on the main CAS 360 screen. To do this, you simply click on Notes. You can add in a note of your choice, and then you click off from there. That then adds a note ready for you to view, and you can open it up anytime. If you are in here and click Add Note again, it will add an additional note for this company, and you can build out as many as you like. And once again, once you've written in there, simply click off and it saves that additional note for you. The last thing to cover today in terms of making your dashboard more suitable to you is really understanding uh, how to kind of process and how to kind of utilize all of the alerts that are available to you on the main CAS 360 screen. First of all, you'll see an alerts column down here on the right hand side. By clicking on the question mark next to alerts at the top, it will give you lots of information about each of the types of alerts that show below and the traffic light system that goes against them. So as you can see here, again, this is not a UK account, so yours will say confirmation statement. You can see down here the different traffic light systems, what the icon is for, and kind of what it means as well. As you go through, you will see different ones, such as ones for document deadlines. And as we release more and more of our AML package, you will see ones for compliance as well. Once you get an alert on your main screen, you are able to go and click on it. And what that will do is it will tell you what the alert is, it will tell you who it's for, and it will give you a date about what is due as well. And what you will get, particularly with your confirmation statements, for example, is a shortcut to go to the confirmation statements page and make the necessary actions that need to be made in order for that alert to hopefully go green. Of course, yours won't be as red as mine where we're on a demo account and manage to break as many of them as we can. In addition, what you'll see down the left-hand side is a column full of your alert filters. If you have it turned off, this is how it will look. But when you click on alert filters, it will open up a drop down for you that looks a little bit like this. There's lots of things we can turn on or off on our alerts to reflect what's on the right hand side of the screen. To do that, we go down and let's use a confirmation statement, for example. When we click on it, it will reflect on the right hand side every alert that pops up in relation to a confirmation statement. We also have the ability to whittle this down further by looking at ones, let's say, for example, as date passed. And when we click on them, we can just see a list of all the companies where the confirmation statement alert has passed. We can then go and perform the necessary actions to obviously get these all up to date. That covers a lot of what's available for you kind of on the main screen, kind of how to really utilize your dashboard and get the most out of it as well. Of course, updates are always coming and we will show you them in due course to really kind of help you get the most out of that dashboard and design it in a way that suits the workflows for your firm and suits how you wish to work as an individual user as well. I'll give you 10 seconds or so to pop any questions in the chat that you may have on what we've gone through so far. And then what we'll do is move on to our comparison reports as well. Perfect. Just moving on to our comparison reports now. There's a few different topics we can look at within comparison reports. First of all is where to find them. Secondly is really important to know when they are used. And thirdly, really important to know kind of what to look out for and how to overcome things that you might not be expecting in the comparison reports as a whole. What we'll do, we'll show you where to find them at first. From your main dashboard, you can come to the options on a particular company or a company in question that you're looking to compare the data with Companies House. I'll use one that's in England and Wales. As you click options and compare, it will bring you up to your comparison report. Mine's going to have lots of failures, as you can see down here, which we'll run through in just a second. But that is one way for you to access these comparison reports. Secondly, and most commonly, as I'm sure a lot of you have experienced already, within our confirmation tab, we also have access to the comparison reports through the comparison report column as well. These will say one of three things. They will either say passed, failed, or please review. Of course, passed is what we're looking for. It means everything's great, it's all green. Please review often means that there is some data in there that we need to go and have a look at and review. And of course, failed means where there's not a match or CAS 360 can't find a particular match between the data that's held in CAS 360 and the data that is held in Companies House. To open these up from this page, you simply click on where it says passed or failed or please review, and it takes you to the same pop-up that we had looked at just before. Once you're in here, you will be able to flick through and see all the different types of information that is compared from CAS 360 to Companies House. And you will also be able to see any failures and where it's gone different. These will be highlighted in red. What this comparison report is really good for, of course, is seeing any changes that have occurred outside of CAS 360. Um, Quite often, it might not be you that's made that change outside of CAS 360, and essentially is your chance to kind of see what your clients have been up to without potentially telling you. It may also have been you that have made these changes, and what you can come in here and do is re-establish where you've made those changes and then make the necessary changes in CAS 360 to reflect as well. For this particular company, XYZ Limited, what you can see here is that the date of the confirmation statement is earlier in CAS 360 than it is in Companies House. This is quite a common one we experience, particularly when confirmation statements have been processed directly with Companies House and outside of CAS 360. All we need to do here is go into our General Details tab of our company when we open them up and edit the company date to match. It's really important when looking out for comparison reports, we will, for these red boxes, we will experience things such as against individuals where maybe there are discrepancies in capital letters and non-capital letters, or potentially just spaces in postcodes, and one may not have a space in the postcode. These are quite common for a lot of our clients to experience, but what's really important to remember is that a comparison report will never ever stop you from filing with Companies House. It is simply there to highlight to you what is going on and what changes have been made outside of the platform. If you see small discrepancies such as that, it will highlight to you as a failure, but don't worry. It simply means that the software is doing exactly what it's intended to do and highlighting those little discrepancies. And what will happen when we process the next confirmation statement is that Companies House will update in due course to match what is in CAS 360. Particularly where we've only gone live in the UK in March, the first 12 months of your CAS 360 journey will involve quite a few of these scenarios. And as we update it over time, what we will do is effectively reach a really clean set of data. As we progress, a clean set of data from Companies House right through to CAS 360, and everything should match. They're the failures you need to kind of be aware of that are okay to bypass, and okay to go and process confirmation statements, which will of course update as we go. Of course, if you do ever bump into any failures that don't look quite right, always feel free to ask us a question. But what we always suggest is give your client a ring, make sure that all the information that you have on CAS 360 is correct, and then you can kind of make a more informed decision from there. If you do experience one like this, like we said, all you have to do is update the date on CAS 360, which I'll show you how to do now. In terms of where to find the information that you need to update, you always get a hint towards the top of this comparison report. So we know here that this is going to be in the General Details tab of our particular company. To do that, you'd make a note of the date down here, which is the 4th of August 2026. You'd come out of your comparison report, go to your main company screen. As we open up the company in question, you'll see up here we are in the General Details tab, similar to what we were on the comparison report as well. We can scroll down to company dates, and what you'll see in here is the confirmation statement date and the last confirmation statement. We can simply update those dates to match what we just seen on the Companies House side of the comparison report as well. So the 4th of August 2026 is the next confirmation statement date. Of course, you could update the last confirmation statement as well. And once you're happy, you hit save, and it then updates that comparison report all to match. Again, we can access that comparison report from the main screen. As we go to options and compare, what you can see now is the dates are all matched, and we have a nice tick to say that this comparison report has passed. One key important thing to remember with comparison reports is that any changes that are made on Companies House will never update CAS 360 automatically. The reason being is because in case that change wasn't made by you, you need to become aware of that change and obviously approve it and make sure it reflects in CAS 360 in the way you want it to be done. If we were to update things automatically, and you weren't aware of them, of course, it would take away from us being as compliant as we really possibly can be. So that's the reason that that's in place at the moment. We are, of course, working on things based on client feedback to really kind of put some more alerts in there and make you aware and give you that opportunity to approve any changes that are made outside of the platform to come into the platform and update that way. That's something in the pipeline. It's something that's coming. So if you've got any questions or more feedback on that as well, let us know and we'll do our best to update you in due course as we get more and more information on that as it develops. Again, that kind of rounds us off with comparison reports. So I'll give everyone sort of 10 to 15 seconds to go ahead and pop some questions in the chat. And then what we'll do, we'll move on to one of our latest updates, which is the dormant accounts. Perfect. So moving on to dormant accounts, this is one of our latest updates. It's something that has only been available over the past couple of weeks. Some of you may have seen it on a session with myself already. Some of you maybe not. So what we'll do, we'll work through it quite slowly. We'll show you kind of what needs to be done in order for you to prepare the documents and then the process of the documents once they have been prepared as well. Of course, like any good chef always says, I have one that I've prepared earlier, which I will talk you through and show you the process of as well. Once you have a company in question or a dormant company that you need to do some filing for, you go down to where they're written in blue, simply open them up as you would do normally. But this time what we want to do is stay on the general details page. The reason being, there are two things we need to make sure are in place before we then go and prepare the documents that need to be filed. In this case, what CAS 360 does is produces and prepares your AAO2 forms. Unfortunately, Companies House don't allow third-party software to file these forms. So as far as we can go, we can prepare these forms, we can get them populated, we can get them signed, all within CAS 360, but the actual filing itself will have to be done on the Companies House website directly. This is one of those situations where if we could, we would, and hopefully in future we will be able to as well, particularly with a lot of the Companies House changes that are coming up across the next couple of years. Within your general details page, you want to scroll down to company status. What you will see below that is a drop down of all the different statuses within CAS 360. Of course, for your AO2 dormant accounts, you want to select the one that says dormant and simply hit save in the bottom right hand corner. What that will do is update the company status to reflect dormant and save it more permanently as well. The next thing we need to do is head across the top to our members tab. In here, we need to ensure that all the transaction types are set to a subscription. If you have ones that say allotment or balance or whatever it may be, to change these to a subscription, you simply go to options on the right hand side of a particular transaction, select edit from the drop down, and we'll change these to a subscription. What you'll see in here is your subscriber, and we also have the option of adding transactions and subscriptions in here as well, similar to what we've just seen in Harvey's section just there. Once we've got all that set up, we head across to company info. In here, you'll see one that I've made earlier, annual reports and documents I've done for the year 2024. You select add company info, you add your annual reports and documents, and you'll receive a pop-up that looks like this. Select your financial year at the top. I'll do 2025 and I'll leave it as today's date. Of course, you can select these relevant on your client's particular information. As you scroll down, you'll see all the information is pre-populated. You can add and amend these as we go down already. But what you will need to do is turn on your director's statement at the bottom in order to progress. I'll give you 10 seconds to have a quick read of this as I turn it on, but it gives you a bit of an idea about kind of what it is and why we need to turn it on as well. Once you're happy, you can go down to the bottom right hand corner and select Save and Prepare Documents. And as you'll see, it takes us to a very similar screen that I'm sure you're all aware of, the document production screen. You've got the option to turn on your cover letter, and what it has produced for us is obviously our AAO2 form, our notice of directors meeting, and our directors minutes or resolution. As always, to preview these, you can simply click on where they're written in blue. It takes you to a pop-up, and you can see the form has been pre-populated for us. As I scroll down, you'll see you've got your data balance sheet in there. You've got all your net assets, your issued share capital, all the information that is in there has been pre-populated for us. And again, you've got your notice of directors meeting and your directors minutes or resolutions as well, which I'll open up just for you to have a quick look at. In here, of course, you've got all this information necessary, similar to how it is on lots of other forms as well, with the option for Harvey to sign at the bottom there too. Again, what you would do from here as normal is select send all. This will map out either via your e-sign solution, or if you don't use an e-sign solution, you would select download all. We can then send our email out to the client. And what this will do, of course, is map out via our e-sign solution. The full document pack will be received by our client. We'll get a tick when it's all done. As you can see, it's added 2025 to our annual reports and documents history. And what we also have in our global documents page on the left-hand side is the form AAO2 for our company Deduct and Conquer. Of course, this is for you signed sent to client. Once it's been signed, you may get something that looks like signed by client. But as mentioned, you won't get a lodge button for this one as we cannot file AAO2s from our third-party software to Companies House. So what you can do from here, once you've got a signed document, you can come into your attachments using options on the right-hand side. You can download any particular document you need and then go and make the correct filing directly with Companies House for this particular transaction. Again, that sort of covers our AAO2s and what we can do with them at the moment. If you've got any questions on these, I'll give you 10-15 seconds again just to pop them in the chat, and we can get to them during our little Q&A towards the end. Okay, amazing. What we can do now, final thing to kind of run you through today. I know we're approaching that half an hour mark quite quickly. So what we can do is show you dividend vouchers, which again is something that's brand new to CAS 360. It's one of our latest releases that we have brought to the platform, and it's something available to use right away. Out of all the features I've shown you today, this is one of the most simple ones to really process, and we'll go through that full kind of process from start to finish and show you how it all works as well. So what you do is want to select your company in question. I'm going to use something fishy for today's example. And what you want to do is head over to your members tab that contains all of your shareholder information. Within here, some of you may have done these already, and again, this may be something that's brand new to you. But what you'll see across the top is the option for dividends. As we open up dividends, we have the option to add a dividend in. You have all the information available for you from drop-down prompts in here already. As you go to share type, it will suggest the share types that already exist to you within this particular company, and you can select one of those. To give you an example, ordinary shares, we've got 200 already within this company. You can select your amount type from the drop-down. We'll do dividend per share for today's example, and the dividend amount as well. Again, you've got your dividend type in here. We'll leave ours as final today, and your dividend payment from the drop-downs. Ours will leave as paid in cash. You've then got your financial year end date, which I'll set as the end of this month. Your holding date, again, which you can select potentially as today's date or whenever you're doing the transaction, and your payment date is available to be changed as well. And of course, your currency, which I'm assuming 99% of the time is going to be GBP for these transactions. You then have the option to save and prepare your documents. And again, similar to the majority of things within CAS 360, it takes you to your document production screen. You've got the ability to turn on your cover letter, as well as view any of the documents below. Dividend vouchers, of course, are one of the newest ones. You can click on them in blue to open them up and kind of take a look at how they look. Of course, as with the majority of documents on CAS 360, these can be customized to suit your firm and suit kind of what you want them to say a little bit more. We often go with the bog standard available from Companies House. Again, within our document production screen, you've got lots of different forms such as your notice of members meeting, your members minutes or resolution. So I'll open those up just for you to have a quick glance through as we go. Again, we use a lot of the standard company's house templates, and a lot of these can be amended to kind of suit exactly what you want from these particular documents. And finally, our members minutes or resolution. This is one we always get asked to kind of show. So if it loads, I'll give you the chance to have a quick flick through it. As with all other documents, packs, and transactions within CAS 360, you'll have the option of download all or send all at the bottom. Download all is really good if you don't have an e-sign solution or you don't want to send it to your client. And send all, of course, if you've got an e-sign solution attached, you can send it directly to your client for their signature. I'll hit send all. It's quite a big document pack, so it may take 10 seconds or so. And then I'll show you where you can review all the dividends that are within your CAS 360 platform. There we go. That now sends out via our e-sign solution to our client ready for signature. It will, of course, appear in our documents tab as all documents normally do. But to review any of the dividends you have prepared in dividend vouchers, you simply come into dividends again. This time you'll have the option for review instead of add. When we click on that, what we'll see here is all the dividends that are being prepared, ones I've done earlier and ones that we've just done as well. You will, of course, have the option here to edit these or to prepare the forms again if need be. And lastly, the final thing I'll show you for today is within our Documents tab. As we said, our dividends voucher is at the top. Few signs sent to client, and we do have the options to come in here and view the attachments and download these particular documents from this section again. That pretty much covers everything for today. I wanted to say thank you to you all for joining, and thank you to those of you who are watching at a later date as well. I want to give you the opportunity to pop any questions into the questions tab. I've had a couple in there already, so please do pop some in. I'll give you 30 seconds or so, and then we'll do our best to answer a couple of those before we finish up for today. Perfect. We've had a few questions in there, which I'll touch upon as we go. The first couple I've sort of touched upon already, so I'll just highlight on them, and then there's one that we haven't touched upon as well. So I'll finish off with that one. Does do comparison reports update CAS 360 automatically? Unfortunately not. I think as mentioned, the reason being, obviously, if it's not you that's made that change outside of CAS 360, we want you to become aware of those changes as they come through the comparison report without kind of updating anything without your approval. And as I think I touched upon as well, we are looking at building some updates and some developments to really kind of give you that approval and the ability to update CAS 360 as well, and make sure those alerts are really clear and kind of what's gone on outside of the platform as well. And another one, the filing of AAO2s unfortunately isn't possible from CAS 360, and that's the reason the lodge button isn't there. Again, I think as mentioned, the reason the lodge button isn't showing is because Companies House don't give us as a third-party software the ability to file from our platform. It's a bit of a Companies House limitation, and one of those situations where if we could, we would. And hopefully in future, that's something they do allow with some of the changes that are coming into Companies House. Another question we've had in is it possible to untick show presenter information? I'm assuming this is in relation to some of the documents we've gone through today. Unfortunately, it's not an option that is available on CAS 360 at this point in time. What's important to remember, a couple of angles of this, the documents that we look through today, particularly, let's say your AAO2, for example, these are paper copies of what we will be filing to Companies House, and not specifically what we are actually filing, if that makes sense. These are simply a paper copy to highlight to your client exactly what is going on. So we don't necessarily have all this information going across to Companies House from this form. It's sort of done in the background through a side door, if you will. But unfortunately, the option to turn this piece off is not yet available in CAS 360. What I would encourage, if it's something you'd like to see, please pop it in the feedback button up here, and I can also pass it on to our team as well and see if there's anything we can do to add that into our software, or at least give an option somewhere along the line as well. I think that covers all the few questions we had in there for today. So again, thank you all very much for joining this new features webinar. These are going to become more common and become every 3 to 4 weeks, and we will be covering more and more new features as we go. If you've got any questions about today that you think of after the session, please let me know. Drop me an email on support, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. We have lots of information on here, as well as our phone number here as well, which reaches me directly. So please do let us know, and we'll do our best to answer them. And as always, we will kind of jump on a call one-to-one and show you how everything works as well. But thank you very much for today. Of course, my name's Connor, for those of you who do know me, so please don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to speaking to you all again very soon.